Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the LGL Well, not welcome back. Welcome to the LGL Season 6 Power Rankings. This is the post-draft Power Rankings, and I'm joined by a smorgasbord of people. Bacon. Say hi, Bacon.
Ooh, I'm here.
Garrett. Say hi, Garrett.
Is this the bathroom?
Yes. And, new moderator, Jaw. Say hi, Jaw.
What?
I said say hi, Jaw.
No.
Oh. Well, then I guess you can, since you're the new one, you can be holding the bag to explain our new criteria system. Whoa.
All right. Here are the categories that our judges are being judged on. They are all going to be worth different amounts of points, but our categories that you are being judged on are offense, defense, synergy, your hazard game, type diversity, low point value, your fire water grass core, your fighting psychic dark core, your ground electric, and your if you have a ground immunity or flying type, whatever works. Your balance between physical and special offense, and then also your support options. So again, they all have different values, which you'll see in the coming slides how much they're worth.
Yep. And speaking of the coming slides, they coming hard. And they come in with number 18. DonutCat with 42 points is not the lowest power ranking score in LGL history. That goes to Season 5. Valet with 41. Slightly unfortunate there, but, you know. Well, I guess it's not unfortunate for DonutCat, right?
He has an immaculate firewater grass core. I just wanted to say that.
He does.
Yeah, it's half of DonutCat's points are between offense and firewater grass core.
That's crazy.
There's a couple things that work here. There's a lot of things that hit real hard, and it turns out when you have 2 fire types, 2 grass types, and 2 water types, you kind of just get the best firewater grass core because it's mix and match. Do whatever the fuck you want. The problem comes with literally everything else other than Hazard game, which is it's fine.
Held together by Dwebble and duct tape.
Yeah, like it's okay. Whooper Paldea's got some stuff.
Woo!
I will say you do have the best logo. Look at the lad.
Some of us know what's coming up in the future, but
yeah,
a solid logo.
Yeah.
Does someone want to talk to us a little bit about the downsides here?
There's like 5 types on this team. I think 6 actually.
I don't know if you get to count on one hand.
There's not even a single fighting, psychic, or dark type.
Yeah,
and
the
that's why
only
there is
person to have a
0
0, I think. I think at least. Maybe there's one other person who got a 0.
Like,
there's a 0 in another category in the coming slide.
I've known DonutCat for long enough to be able to say this, but I feel like DonutCat's draft was like just one of those people in a bingo hall that just cranks the wheel with all the little balls inside with the numbers. I feel like just whatever rolled out was just what DonutCat chose to pick.
That seems mean, but like I can't fully disagree. Like there's some like a lot of these Pokemon are like I'd say 9 of these Pokemon are legitimately good Pokemon.
They only have 10.
Yeah, but like
they just don't make sense together.
Yeah, there's no order here.
It doesn't make sense really.
It's pretty strongly physically biased. Your special attackers are like Squirtle and Snivy, which it's not awful, but and the support options are intensely limited. It's just weird. We don't know what's going on here. This is the lowest grade in this draft. Spoilers by 10 points. Hydreigon at number 17 with 52 points is going to be the next one. This team, you can feel the step up here, right? It's tangible. This team makes more sense, although it does have another 0. there is no ground types. There's no electric types, and
No ground resist
there are
or
ground
ground
resist.
immunity.
Yeah,
Immunity is what I mean.
yeah. There's actually a good amount of ground resist, but this team's just really stilted. You've got like a pretty solid top 5, but a top 5 that has a lot of the same. Doesn't really cover itself super well.
I think this team has like season 5 Geyser syndrome because like it's kind of a good team. Like it's got a strong ass top 5, but then after that it's just not very good.
Yeah.
Like it's going to get exploited, like no doubt. Especially in Violet. I wouldn't call it a weaker division, especially with how good the new players seem to be, at least by their draft scores. So you're gonna have to step it up with the moves and grace.
I will say you got 6 of the new Pokemon, so you get to use some of the new stuff. Hydreigon's also sitting on like 6 points with an empty slot, and
That's right.
like Smalliv.
Yeah, I know. Should be spending those points.
Yeah, do something. It's free. It's literally free.
Improve one of your mons, get a new one.
Yeah, and you should at least get a 6-pointer, bare minimum. Like get something.
Drop Smalliv. Smalliv does nothing for your team right now.
Spoiler.
Like you have Gossifor. Just drop Smalliv, drop Nimble or Tarantula because you don't need
Nimble.
2. Yeah, I would drop Nimble. Like and just you could get anything like a strong flying type or something, or maybe a ground type. Hell, an electric type if there's any left. Or you could probably trade Varoom if you had to.
Yeah.
As well. Like, yeah, Varoom's kind of nice for your team because you don't have anything else that's poison or steel. But at the same time, you have so much physical offense. You don't need Varoom. You could trade it for someone to give you an electric type. Trade Varoom.
Personally, I am a Varoom fan. I won't lie.
I do like Varoom, but sometimes you gotta make the concessions. I'd also even consider trading off Clobopus to someone who's seeking a fighting type, because I'm like, it's not a great Pokemon, and I think you need good Mons more than you need a fighting type to tick a box in a core. You know, the quality needs to go up. Also, the hazard game's really weak here. It's basically Tarantula. And
something I don't think we noted was how many Pokemon he has that are weak to rocks, which is, Citadel, Growlithe, Nimble, and Tarantula. Yeah. But then Tortuga hates rocks because it can't sturdy juice properly.
Mm-hmm.
Flittle doesn't want to take any more chip. It's already pretty frail before it gets up Calm Minds.
Neither does Meowth.
Meowth hates rocks.
Switching in and out.
Yeah, Gossifor is your main form of removal, really your only form.
Yeah.
And it's like, you gotta ease the pain on it a little bit.
Even just defog or any defog.
Something. It needs something, and you have the points. So you can just get something. You don't need to do 5D chess here. Find a good thing. Speaking of good things, all good things must come to an end. And the good thing of talking about Hydreigon must come to an end as we go to slide 16. It's Valet. Valet is just cursed in post-draft power rankings. Last
when
season,
playing, they're fine.
Yeah, not really playing into how we grade, but also this team has some real flaws. There's the most glaring one. 4 water types, and 3 of them are just physical attackers. And the other one's a special attacker. Like, I get it's kind of an overload strategy, and I get that. It kind of gets some points on the synergy end for kind of overloading on the waters there. And it's, it ends up this team is very offensively potent. It's very scary, but there's no backbone. Your backbone is the Cutie Fly. And Cutie Fly is not.
I feel like the whole team is shut down by Taunt.
Yeah, I mean, like Corphish can kind of Q-Fat.
Yeah, but like Cutify is the main the main kick to the team.
Yeah.
So if Cutify is gone, right, and there's no webs up, this team is not beating most other teams in
Yeah.
like a 5v5.
There's also another team that gets a flat 0 on the ground, electric, and flying or ground immunity. But I mean, it's got a lot of support options, and I mean, like, Valet has proven themselves to be a very good player. So, like, Valet's gonna do fine, guys.
Mm.
I'm not. If I make anything clear, post-draft power rankings only mean something as a way to give advice and more for new players. Like, if you know what the fuck you're doing and you got a plan and you got something to do, you can just tell us to shove it. You know?
Prove us wrong in actual games.
Yeah.
I think Bullet has to be careful because they've got some very strong players in their division. They might not be able to just sweep through a lot of easy teams. It's going to be a harder season for everybody.
Are there any transactions we think could help this? It's hard to tell because the document we cut it off.
Yeah, we cut it off because we wanted to get this video out at some point today. Well, technically tomorrow at this point, but
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. The doc isn't fully updated at the moment, so
yeah,
I might say something and then it's like, oh wait, that's actually taken.
It's going to be hard for us to give direct advice as much this post draft, just because of how active this race is. And speaking of active, we're going to actively move on to number 15, which is Sin of Wrath.
What a great transition.
All my transitions are beautiful. And speaking of beautiful, look at this logo. It's just a blast.
I think that's the most curious one there. That's like that's a little weird. It's a little off-putting, but it's not
it's just
it's not bad. Yeah,
it's Arial font.
My man's on the Quaaludes.
Yeah, no, I don't. If Quaaludes turned you into like a weirdly young version of yourself, like that Blastoise looks like it's a toddler.
Okay. First
size of that room.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's so big, but look at it, it's got a baby face.
Okay.
Anyways.
This team is the first team with no zeros. That's something.
The offense goes hard.
Yeah, the offense is really potent here, and it's because it's a Sun team, and you notice immediately you got Vulpix, Bulbasaur, Helioptile. Not super all in on the Sun, but it's
honestly, I think
Tyrant doesn't have to be.
Tyrant to me is what brings this team over the top. Like facing Tyrant blows pretty much no matter what.
Yeah.
And having that on top of an already potent offense with Sun, that's just not fun, man. You gotta. If you don't have like a really good ground type, you are screwed.
Tyrant's also serving as Terra Captain here.
Yeah, which makes it even more terrifying. Oh, pun unintended.
We haven't been talking about Terra Captains, so I'll actually quickly flip back. I think the only one.
Not all of them has been determined.
Yeah.
Yet.
DonutCat doesn't have one. I don't think right now.
Hydreigon has it as Meowth, which I don't particularly like. I think Tortuga is better.
Yeah, I would.
Citadel.
I agree.
Or Citadel, yes.
I think Tortuga's the best. I think all around.
Meowth doesn't need it.
And then Bullet, I don't think has a declared one.
No, not yet.
Although I think Q-Fant could be a really good one, actually.
But imagine he's Terra Water Corphish with the already adaptability. It's just it's just stupid power.
I was thinking Q-Fant, it can do a lot of sets because there's a bit of coverage, but yeah, Scraggy would be nice too.
The Scrags.
Back to Sin of Wrath. Sin of Wrath just got a very scary top 5, and it kind of peters off after that. We gave a high low point value mostly because it's just a fucking lot of them.
Yeah.
Low points for us are 8 and below. That is everything from Bulbasaur down.
Yeah.
And a lot of these are pretty good. Bulbasaur, Helioptile, Venipede, Diglett A, Bagon, Yamask, and even to a lesser extent Bergmite. It puts itself together. It's got a Sun strategy, but the hazard game is pretty weak. Bergmite Spin exists. Benepede.
I don't like Bergmite being your only form of removal when you have a sun team.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, I have been hit by the weakest fire move known to man. I will now take 78% and cry for mommy. Bergmite is screwed.
Oh no, I got hit by Will-O-Wisp. I die. The support options are also really lacking, we noticed. Not a whole lot here outside of like Yamask. And like it's not this is kind of the benchmark for like where the teams start getting decent. So this team's alright. It's got a really tight top 5, and past that it's a little bit all over the place.
No ground resist anywhere.
Yeah. That's the main way to beat this team. You have a good
That
ground
is-
type, let it rip.
That is exploitive.
Yeah. Do we have anything else we want to add?
No.
No. Okay. Number 14. It's Archaic Falcon. I don't know where Archaic was last season, but Archaic's team feels better than last season's.
Easily.
This is a rain team. You'll notice.
I don't know. I think this is a YouTube video team because there's so many pranksters on this team.
Oh.
Whoa.
That was good.
I'm so okay.
There's 4.
There's 4.
They do have 4. They're missing only Impidimp to get all 5.
And probably one other one that's like dodgy. I should really look it up.
Yeah,
no, I checked it already. It's only Impidimp. But that would have been type redundancy, so there's no reason to get it.
You're right.
I'm just saying, though, like
optimal, yeah.
Come on, Sage Mode, reach out, offer Impidimp, perfect 5 prankster. You just always move first. I think the Rain Core is pretty interesting here. The prankster gives you like a ton of ways to set up fast rain, which is kind of neat. And Item Clause makes running Damp Rock more viable. Buizel is, of course, incredibly threatening in rain.
Wattrel. Thank God you got Wattrel, because that thing is so much better in rain.
I'm not sleeping on Wattrel. I was just getting a Buizel, you know.
No, I know. I was just complimenting Archaic for it. Like having Wattrel now.
Buizel
that's
is
huge.
also Terra Captain.
Yes, Buizel is Terra.
Oh yeah, because
you need more power.
If you want more water, just
Terra Water Rain Boosted Wave Crash.
Also,
no one wants to take that.
A couple of the lower key, like rain abusers, Noibat gets to spam Hurricane within rain. They can't miss, which is sick. And Tentacool can run like Rain Dish strats, which, you know, it's nice. What's nice about this team, on top of that, this team's kind of like, it's like a mid-raid team, but also it's like anchored up here by this Mudbray Porygon. That just gives it like some quality to anchor all this nonsense, you know?
Yeah, it gives you that defense stat. I mean, you've got mid defense rating of 8.
Yeah.
But Mudbray and Porygon, they are carrying that.
Yeah, and it's them and Tentacool. I do think you have too many prankster Pokemon. It has gotten redundant. You don't need this many. But
you can drop Purloin, I think.
Yeah, definitely you can get rid of Purloin. You might be able to get rid of Riolu. I don't know how much this team really needs a mediocre fighting type. I think Shroodle is probably the best Rain Dance setter all around. It is the one that gets used on ladder. And it gets Prankster Parting Shot, which is really nice. And then Cottony's filling your grass type, so keeping both of them makes sense. But this team's functional and kind of funny. You notice this team kind of scored middle of the road on a lot of categories. This team's just kind of middle of the road, doing some stuff. Babadee babadoo.
I think it's fun to keep Riolu, by the way, just for the sake of the fighting Psychic Dark Core.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe a switch of Codney for Morlul Or is that not? Oh,
I
never mind.
think it's not available anymore. I don't think.
Oh.
I can't keep track.
Yeah, sorry. There's a bunch of transactions going on right now, so
I will
Stop
take
thinking about trades right now.
I will take credit for the Snowy Bat because I did recommend it, and I think it was pretty good 4-point pickup. So
Yeah,
everyone,
that's good.
Everyone shower
Good
boost
value.
praise.
No.
A shower of gold I will give you.
Ooh.
Oh.
Can I be the next in line?
Shirtless too.
It's salty.
Duh.
I'm going to
No.
13. We need to stop.
We're at 13.
Whoa.
Ayano Fentanyl Wrath.
Or
of course.
okay, we don't know how to pronounce.
I am committing to Ayano Fentanyl Wrath until he actively
Fentanyl is
corrects me.
spelled wrong too.
I'm just calling him fentanyl.
This is Fentanyl, man.
I could shorten it to Fent.
I'll call him of.
Of. We're gonna call him of.
Yeah.
Hey, that's at least it's spelled right.
I can spell of. Anyways.
Notably, they didn't turn in their team logo, so they get Tit Cruz. It's just
Well endowed.
This is another one of the kind of mid teams. It's also another weather team. We're like 3 in a row.
Personally.
It's got Hippopotas Drillber. It's not like a weather team as much as it is a oops, I'm weather now, you know?
Yeah, they
There's a driller that can run.
Fentanyl also made a ton of transactions like right before the cutoff. That definitely helped.
Yeah.
The team's in a lot better shape now than it was before. I actually like this team a good bit.
Yeah, they probably would have been closer to the bottom if they were they didn't make those trades. They probably would have been very low 60s or high 50s. So I do think it was worth it for them.
I think this is the quintessential mid team. Like, it has the most mid numbers generally.
Yeah, it's pretty average.
Like, it's a very functional team. It's got a lot of stuff. It's got some good Pokemon. It's got some fun synergies, like the Drillbur Hippopotas thing. It's pretty sneaky. I liked it. But like, there's nothing groundbreaking going on here. I'm not wowed. I'm not shitting my pants at how cool this is. You know, I'm definitely not shitting my pants.
They keep telling yourself that.
That sounds threatening.
I can't think of anything that you want to change, but again, it's hard to even if I had the doc, I don't know where it is at this point. It'd be better to directly ask us for advice after this and use this as more of a guide for like the flaws and stuff.
Yeah, I'd say at this point, most of these teams from here on up, like, honestly, they could go without changes, but some of them, it's just like there are Pokemon that are just simply upgrades. But they're not really bad teams.
Speaking of not really bad teams, number 12, it's Jaw. Jaw.
Get the elephant out of the way.
Yeah, Jaw, tell us about your draft. Before we pick it apart, I want your narrative.
Okay, well, as a cautionary thing I should have said at the beginning, I wasn't even here when these guys graded these drafts, so I didn't even know what I got. But yeah, as you can see, I first picked Pineco because Jamal, I don't trust you, and you know that. And there's, as Goose have said many times, there's no world where you should ever do that. But I have a lot of mid point value picks. It does hurt that I don't have any of the higher tier, like 12, 13 point mons. So I don't really have a standout mon. I do think, like, I have Magnemite, Archon, Ponyta with at the 11 point value, which are good mons, but it's not the scariest team. It's just kind of there. I don't know how to best explain, but yeah.
I will also add, you made Pineco your Terra captain.
Uh-huh.
Why'd
you think
you do
I wouldn't
that?
play into it? You think I wouldn't play into it?
You have Magnemite right there. It wants to be a Terra
department.
captain.
You think I wouldn't play into it?
Honey G
Wha-
wants to be a Terra. Archin would love to be a Terra captain.
Watch me win a
Sandile?
game with
Croagunk?
explosion,
You're gonna
Terranormal
Terranormal explosion.
and
Okay.
rapid spin.
And
Choice band.
Ooh.
Choice band and rapid
spin.
spin.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Keith's attack side is not the worst.
Sorry, honey, but Sargs isn't in the league anymore. That's not going to work.
Dang.
Okay,
Okay, well, yeah.
Remember, Sargs has made playoffs. Some of you can't say that.
So,
I'll say I feel like I hit a lot of different types. The only really repeating types was the Pansage because it was just a low tier pick that I thought was just the best to have for because it has like Nasty Paw and I think a lot of my offense. I have like Archin, Totodile for and Glameow for like physical, but I have a few special options, so I kind of just wanted another one, and Pansage could kind of sort of fill the role, but yeah, main thing is I hit a lot of different types at least, so you know,
yeah,
I can do that well.
This team, I think what the main thing between Bacon and I was we were just confused.
Of course.
I said that a couple times. I was just like, I don't get what's going on. It's definitely here. I'm definitely looking at a team, but I feel more like I'm staring into the cavity of my soul. I'm just confused.
Looking into the cavity of my soul, and Sandile is staring back, asking, "Why, God? Why am I on this team?"
That being said, this team is pretty damn functional. On almost all counts. Like there's some very confusing things. Please change the Tarek. I will.
Oh,
please. Please.
No.
Wait, I have a couple things to say.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Probably the best ground electric flying in the league.
Fair.
That's so important.
I would argue.
Obviously.
No, Geysers is better.
We'll see when we get there.
Well, not on maybe not on the flying, but I think just the electric and ground he has might put it over the top.
I forgot, but
imagine for.
I think Chikorita's just better than Pansage for a 2-point grass type. They do different things, but Chikorita's low-key goated. I was surprised no one saw that it was like underplaced. I think it should have been 3 or 4. Actually,
Chikorita is the worst starter, but it's probably not a 2.
It may be it might be the objective worst, but I think it's not the least usable.
What's the least usable starter?
Like, I don't know, it's probably fucking one of the water types.
Oshawott?
Yeah, Oshawott. Oshawott blows Chode.
True. Average Chode blower in shambles.
Chespin is pretty bad, but it's I don't know. I think
still better than
Chespin's better than Chikorita.
I think Chikorita's just like you give an Eviolite, it has sleep powder. Like this thing can support your team.
Classic grass options, yeah.
It is just the most generic grass type.
If Piplup didn't get Roost, in Legends Arceus, I think it'd be worse. Sobble's ass.
Sobble has a really funny move pool, but yeah, it's pretty fucking bad.
Yeah, it's funny, but it's like not what you want your water type to.
Which is why Hydreigon, of course, brought it over Krabby regularly.
In Chinchou, I think he had 3 waters on that team.
Okay, anyways, back to my draft.
Yeah. The defense was one of the other things we noticed is a little. Your backbone is like Pineco, Flabebe, Magnemity, I guess.
Should we ignore that pronunciation?
Yeah, ignore it.
I'm willing to.
Wait, what are we ignoring?
Nothing.
The gaslighting insane.
What?
I'm hurting.
No shot you did that subconsciously. Like actually, no way.
What?
Did you actually not hear? Okay, never mind.
I legitimately heard nothing.
I can't believe it.
No, I will put a stick of dynamite in my urethra if you actually didn't fucking understand what you did.
I don't know what's going on.
No way you pronounced magnanimity.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
no.
no, that's on purpose. Yeah,
Okay,
magnanimity.
good. Thank God I can take the stick of dynamite out.
That's good. I was already holding the lighter.
Yeah, no, that's magnanimity right there. It's he's based off an anemone, obviously.
Actually, can we get on to number 11?
Yeah, we
We're
can.
here until like 4 in the
Yeah,
morning.
it's just stop
Sage
talking
mode
about
AD.
dynamite.
Sage mode, I think, has one of the more competent hyper offense teams. Mostly because of Impidimp, honestly. Impidimp screens is pulling a lot of weight here.
Yeah, otherwise, I think the team would really struggle to be able to set up properly.
Yeah, and this
Like,
team's
Zigzagoon loves it.
This team's so fucking scary, though. Like, Ghastly, Terra Metatite, Quaxley.
Oh, I'm facing this team week 1. That's going to be fun.
This is just the most balls to the walls, punch you in the face until you die. And I appreciate that. Like, does it have the best hazard game? No. Does it have the best cores? No. Does it have the best stuff? No, not really. But damn,
you're gonna be crying after.
Yeah, it's just gonna punch you in the dick until you start bleeding. I mean, just
that's mean.
Just bam, 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 and until it like goes inside. You know, it's gonna be rough.
Oh, you can stop whenever you want.
That's a lot of damage.
He knocked me out in one hit.
The Firewater Grass is legitimately pretty weak here, and it's very carried by Quaxley and Budu Fennekin. Although we have seen Fennekin do some funny stuff in the past. I still think Lickitungu's a bad Pokemon, but it's fine here.
It's work.
I'm fairly certain there's just like a direct upgrade for something in the Firewater Grass core. You could probably replace Buddy with like. You
can spend an extra point by just dropping this Igglybuff that's never gonna.
Yeah, that's what I meant. You just trash the Igglybuff, maybe make the Buddy a Shroomish, or you can make the Fennekin like a Cyndaquil or a Charmander.
Oh yeah, I think Cyndaquil would be a good pickup. Nothing like
actually.
I think like any of those
that would work. Yeah.
Would work.
Yeah.
And I think we're gonna keep moving, keep going a little quickly here. Move on to number 10. It's Geyser, no longer topping the list and then performing mediocrely. Now it's in 10th. Credit to Garrett for catching us there. This is the ground electric flying that was being referred to because Piglet, Elekid, Damn, Shazam, Balam. I was really pumped for this team for a lot of the drafts, and then it just, what's this? I don't like this.
I'm a Wingull denier. I just wanted to get that out of I needed to be an uncloseted Wingull denier. I just don't like Wingull.
I'm right there with you. I think Wingull is.
I think the swap to Mantite could be good, though the hazard control would suffer even more.
Yeah, and the hazard control game is already kind of tricky.
You could be a Chad hazard denier, like the G-Meister was for 2 seasons.
I will say, Execute doesn't need to be here other than to be a psychic type.
Yeah, but I know we mentioned picking up Smoochum, but now that's no longer an option, unfortunately.
Yeah. You just have a better grass type. You have Lileep here. Just let it be your grass type.
Let me see if there's anything he could pick up.
There's Esper.
Ooh, that could be good.
I also think like Grubbin, Webs, this isn't really the best Webs team. These guys are already fast as shit.
Either too fast or too slow.
Yeah, and like Stuffle can benefit from it. Wingull can outspeed a couple things. Torchic can get the jump on things before speed boost, but then it doesn't matter. But you know what it really does is it enables Belly Drum Makuhita. The best strategy.
Maybe you could drop like Grubbin and Makuhita. See if there's anything in 9. No, there's like nothing in 9 point. What a shame.
I'm I have a feeling there's some finagling that can make this team a little bit better, especially just manipulating these bottom four. I'm not a huge fan of any of these bottom four.
Maybe some trades would go well.
Yeah. Like, you've got... I just... This top 7 is great. That's I keep coming back to it. Okay. Otherwise, pretty solid team. Moving on. Number 9. Kryptos. I was really big on Kryptos' team early in the draft. Pawn, Moraine, Snubble. And I think a lot of what it's doing is really strong here. The offenses are pretty solid. The defenses are good. And you got Moraine. You've got a lot of kind of mixed offensive, defensive stuff. Yeah, Pumpkaboo, who's playing a little bit of that. Snubble, Larvesta. That's good. Team's decently synergistic. The hazard game is fine-ish. Not really. The removal's really bad. Roly-poly. Does Piggyback get to Fog?
Most likely.
Yeah, it is a bird.
Piggyback does get the fog.
Cool. And it just ends up suffering in, like, the physical special isn't great. It's pretty heavily physically biased. In fact, it's very heavily physically biased. It just ends up... I think it ends up falling short in a way that's kind of indescribable. Could I pass it to the crew?
Yeah, G. Sorry, that's all I knew how to say to when you said pass it to the crew. But okay, now I have things. I guess one thing worth mentioning is Snubble was traded for more lol. I don't know if I was supposed to mention that or not.
That's fine, and you can mention it. It's no problem. I don't like that. I think Snubble is probably better.
Yeah, Snubble's cool, but it does help the physical special split at least.
Yeah, and you already have a grass type though. Like,
yeah, I think not getting rid of Pumpkaboo first just caused an unneeded problem.
Yeah. Who ended up getting Snubble?
Jamal.
Well,
I think Jamal will enjoy it. Have we done Jamal yet? I don't think so.
No.
He's up.
We will cover him in a bit. In
Very
an
soon.
indeterminate amount of time.
He's number 1.
What?
Sorry to all the Jamal fans out there who thought he was number 1 for 5 seconds.
Final note from me. I have no fucking idea what Frigibax does, man.
Frigibax would be so good if it got Dragon Dance. Like, I legitimately think it would be the maybe the best dragon. It might be better than Axu if it got Dragon Dance.
Probably, it just has good moves-ish.
He's a gross-looking little bitch, is all I'm gonna say.
Oh yeah, he's ugly.
Number 8, we have Gozik with
Okay.
this. Fucking this. I don't like it.
Okay,
I'd rather see Ted Cruz.
Yeah, wait, this is the G-Meister moment.
Yeah, I need to make a PSA. Please drop Skrelp and Cosmog and pick up Krabby. You have this like beautiful Trick Room shit set up, right?
Yeah.
And my favorite Trick Room Pokemon in the entire Little Cup meta is Krabby. He is so fucking awesome in Trick Room. And it seems like such an obvious choice for this team just to round out your Fire, Water, Grass core. And
I 100% agree. It also mitigates the fact you have 3 poisons right now. Bring that down to 2. Krabby would be an incredible add. I think this team, other than, like, Cosmog, and I guess Jingmo sucks, man. It's a bad Pokemon. It's pretty tight. Other than that, it's a Trick Room team, which is very novel. I like that. Missy, Spritzy, Bronzor means you can really set it up, and Numel is legitimately a threat. Dropping Whalmer for Rowlet was a good move, gives you a defogger. But you are facing some problems, kind of in the power department. Under Trick Room, you've got like Munchlax, Numel, Honedge.
This team is shut down like real hard by taunt. Like Spritzy and Bronzor, and Misdreavus and Glimmet to an extent. Yeah, if you taunt them, they're just going to be sitting there like, damn, my life has been validated.
I like this team. I haven't disliked a team in a while, and there's a lot of things I like here. And I find going for Trick Room, and I don't think this team needs to be Trick Room all the time. A lot of its Trick Room Pokemon are usable outside of it. Even Numel has some value outside of Trick Room. So you're not in like dire straits, but there's some stuff you could be doing. As for Terra Captain, what are we thinking?
I'm thinking maybe Munchlax.
I could see Munchlax. I don't like
Missy too is just probably the best overall.
Yeah. I don't hate Glimmet.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
Glimmet's typing is pretty bad, and being able to change it is good. And it's also Glimmet has a massive special attack stat. You can really use it. The hazard game here, Glimmet's pulling a lot of weight on the hazard game, but Glimmet's good at putting up hazards and it being threatening while doing it, which is nice. The Krabby change should be made, but other than that, I think this team is deeply functional. I think it's doing a lot of cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Number 7, it's Jamal. The Detroit Obamians have gone to 7. So we were talking about this beforehand. Jamal has been messaging me nonstop, being like, "Please, I need a good post-draft power ranking score because I don't know, I have daddy issues, and you are my surrogate father now."
Real.
Relatable.
But the team before Jamal started making all these trades was better, right?
Significantly.
Yeah, it lost Ponyta, Pharaoh Seed, and what else?
The trade essentially with me was Ponyta, Pharaoh Seed, and Natu for Grookey, Woobat, and Fuecoco. It was just done in 2 separate trades.
Yeah. And that's a losing transaction. It does, what I will say, it kind of recenters Jamal's team on offense, but this team is also like shockingly non-offensively potent. Like Grubat, obviously very offensively potent and is carrying. And there's Bunnelby, there's Clink.
Am I allowed to go on a rant to Jamal?
Oh, of course.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Jamal, you're a fucking moron. Like,
Yep.
you had the most beautiful team in the world, right? And like all that happened.
Okay, stop sucking his dick.
No,
Chill.
no, you didn't let me shit on him.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and then your trade with Hydreigon got canceled for like Strudel for Tortuga, right? Which is fine because if you look at the dock, there's like 20 water types. You decided to go into a panicked state and just like trade your life savings away. It just made no sense.
He wanted Monkey.
It was the one draft I wasn't there to hold his hand for. It just really shows. I'm sorry.
Jamal.
Can Jamal win a season when not being handheld Garrett?
Jamal
Find out next.
He's a little gold star now. Now we've kind of shit on Jamal here. Let's wheel it back. This team isn't bad. This team's good, right? Like,
no, it's still workable. Like, there's nothing inherently wrong with it.
I wouldn't even say workable. This team is legitimately good. There's a lot of good Pokemon here. Like, your weakest links are like Wooper and Clink, and you could be doing
drop
a lot
Clink.
worse than that. You could definitely do it. You probably do.
There's a lot of things that funnel to Fuecoco is one of the main problems with this team. Like, fire and ice weakness was the issue.
Whoa.
I need to stop accidentally moving the slide. Giving people spoilers.
It just rests heavily on Fuecoco for resistances.
Yeah, like this, it's got some good bulk behind it. There's nothing wrong with this team. Well, there are things that are wrong. We've talked about what's wrong with this team. There's nothing atrocious about this team, but it's a little. It's just funny what happens. Moving on, number 6. It's Weebo, as I kind of spoiled, with a absolutely god tier logo. I mean, this is great. This is very good. Weebo's got a really tight team.
Just realize it's the people. I'm so dumb, dude. I thought it was just like. I
Dude,
don't know.
White.
Yo, it's albino Diglett, bro.
Okay, this team is like kind of a webs team. It's got Dupe Fighter, and it's taking advantage of things like Cranidos.
Chad alert. We got a Granados user.
Chad Cranidos user, absolutely. I think Weebo is the first of the teams I would consider like in the solidly good, like not just good, like good to great area. I think the only thing holding this back, honestly, there's not much, and maybe Pommy's kind of bad. This team, it's got like Deerling. I feel like there could be a better grass type, but this is nitpicks. This team works. I don't think I'd overhaul this team in any significant way. Just send it. You got a good squad, and you had the first pick. You got Weebo. You got Mianfu. Pardon me.
You got Weebo.
You got Weebo. And you got the cutest little pupper. So that's good. That's a good pupper. Moving on. Number 5, Smalliv gang. So I don't know if that wager with Smalliv and Jamal and DonutCat is still a thing. Smalliv wins. Smalliv is, I'm pretty sure, the highest hyper offense team on here. And it's largely carried by some strong cores and just a deep consistency going on here. Surskit Webs is being backed up by Cubone offense with Cubone, Farfetch G, Gothita offense, and Houndours here. Kabuto, Talo, Voltorb H. There's just a lot here that's really scary.
It's small if what they did fantastically with their low tiers. I don't think anyone else can hold a candle to it. They know how to pick low tiers.
Their worst Pokemon is Fido, and Fido's like solid.
Yeah.
It's pulling some defense game. This team loses out on hazard game and obviously defenses because it's very hyper offensive. The hazard game's very weak. It's mostly like Surskit Webs and Kabuto. But that being said, this team's just scary. And it comes at you from a bunch of different angles, from a very consistent, like this isn't like Sage Mode AD where you have holy shit, holy shit, holy shit, okay, we're fine. Cubone is threatening big damage. Talo threatening big damage. Top 3 threatening big damage. It's just damage, always threatening. And that's why Smalliv's up here at 5. Great team, great drafts. Big shout-outs to them. Number 4, it's Baconator. Bacon, tell us about your draft and your and Grace, because Grace has definitely played a role here.
Yeah, so the 5th overall pick, I took Grookey because I'd been wanting to use it. Haven't got to use it in LGL before. And then I was like, what if I take my Grookey in my 4th round Woobat and I trade that shit away to Jamal for a cracked fire type and a cracked grass type? And even though I've used Ponytail like 2 seasons already, you know what? Why not bring it back for a 3rd round?
Yeah.
Well, he accepted my offer. I probably would have been willing to give up a little more, but thankfully he accepted my first offer, and then accepted my follow-up offer of Fuecoco for Natu, and now I have probably the best top 9 in the league.
Oh yeah,
and I think it's well balanced too, which I like. I tried to balance it out, have a good balanced team. Yanma I'm very excited to use because I think it hits like a fucking truck when you give it a life orb. Zorua is going to be interesting. Don't know how many games I'll bring it to, but it's always there. You're going to have to look out for it if it comes. Onyx, still my rock snake goat. And Machop, it's a serviceable fighting type. It was probably the best one left when I had to pick.
Sure.
What I'll say, when Zorua is the weakest in your top 9, you're feeling good.
Yeah.
But this is a 9 Pokemon team. And that's where a lot of the points ended up getting lost. Is just like, we're not going to talk about Milcery. Milcery doesn't exist.
Decent tier 1.
We're not talking about the splash of milk.
I don't even know what you're circling your mouse around. Like, I don't see anything.
No milk.
Oh.
No milk.
Yeah, it's the milchery.
The top 9 are so strong. The only reason this is 4th is that it's just this top 9. You know, that's what's happened here. This is just a really strong team. There's very little to say. At this point, you keep it how it is, and you just jam with the best 9 you got. You know, it's tight. There's not much more to say there. Number 3, we're getting into the top 3. This is where people get custom Pokeballs in the corners, if you didn't notice. Number 3 is Garrett, the number 1 co-host.
Yeah, baby!
3rd place with the Great Ball, just by 1 point. I consider this team really on. I consider these two teams effectively tied. Gave the edge to Garrett in the end.
Because he has 10 Pokemon and he's so special.
Yeah, and that's it.
And Snow.
Yeah, you got the Snow core here. I like that this team is a Snow team, except for, no, it's not. It is a Snow core with a team behind it, you know? And it feels great when your worst Pokemon is like Minccino or Geodude A. Even on 10. There's a lot of offensive threats going on. Sorry, I've been taking up Garrett's time. Garrett, tell us about your drafts.
Okay, so I got the 12th spot. And I remember Baconator asked me before, he's like, what are you going to pick? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to try to get Vulpix A, but surely someone will take Snow before me because it's the new and improved Hail. And then nobody did. And then, I just drafted those 2 Pokemon first. I really wanted to draft another Pokemon over Sandshrew, but I can't trust the LGL community to draft sensibly, so... So I had to take Sandshrew second, but... I got Slowpoke. Every Pokemon here I like. The most surprising one for sure is Toadschool. I really wanted it, and I was able to get a trade with Hydreigon in exchange for Nimble and Gossifleur.
You were able to rob Hydreigon.
Hey, it's not robbery if it's consensual.
You were able to defraud? Would that be a better term? Defraud?
I suppose.
Swindle? I like swindle.
Yeah, swindle. I think that's the right word.
Went total manipulator mode. Toadschool really pulled this team together. Toadschool provides a ton of support and it answers hazards in a great way. Toadschool is an excellent Pokemon on all fronts. It's legitimately offensively interesting in some ways. It's got high base power stabs and Power Whip and Earthquake. And Drifloon's a good Pokemon. I'm waiting to see someone really use a Drifloon in the LGL. I'm excited for when it happens. I hope it can be.
Yeah. I don't like how Bonfire used it, but I know the secret Drifloon strats. So.
I think we're gonna keep moving on to number 2, which is NotshadyKid returning from a 2-season hiatus to just snatch up the 2nd place spot. If you didn't know, NotshadyKid has never lost a season of the LGL. Although I did beat them in playoffs and then found out I cheated. And then quit, and then they won.
If only Goose didn't cheat.
If only I didn't cheat.
I wouldn't have lost season 2 on his end headbutt flinch. I still probably would have lost, but it wouldn't have been like that.
Yeah. This team is excellent on all grounds, except the hazard game, which is just is not good. It's not bad. It's Baltoy, it's Ammonite.
It just doesn't remove very well.
Yeah.
Because Baltoy, it's not a great spinner. Like, when you look at all the other Pokemon on the team, if you're bringing Baltoy, I feel like you're missing out on something good.
At least you're doing better than bringing Wimpod. But I mean, you just look at the stats on everything other than hazard game. It's either above average or significantly above average. Like this team's just excellent at a lot of levels. Apom Fungus has great synergy with each other. Fungus switching in on the fighting types that scare Apom, and it can even sleep it can sleep them so that Apom can take advantage. Like there's two water types. You can nitpick it, but this team's just really, really strong. I don't have any notes. And it doesn't sound like anyone else does either, so we're gonna go to number 1. It's Peachy. With 79 points, 1 point short of tying the LGL record, although Geyser kind of doesn't count because it's criteria.
Well, it's the highest grade with this new criteria.
I think that the Garrett-based PDR of Season 5 should be accounted for that season. Over this.
What I'll say about this team is this team is kind of wall to wall excellent, and like you can see some weakness in like Chespin Finian, although Finian gets defogged for some fucking reason.
Oh yeah.
Like when we were putting it together, it's like I like this team except Finian. What the fuck is Finian? Why does it get defogged? What? It also just gets a decent move pool. It has decent stats. Chespin's not a bad grass type defender.
Dude, what? Finian has base 330 stats?
Yeah, Finian's not bad. Finian's good.
What in the world? Yeah, this shit's moving up.
Yeah. It is double watering, but it's so different from Chin Chow that it's fine. Tinka-Tink. I think Peachy was the master of like getting stuff that was getting stuff on the cheap. Like Tinka-Tink was cheap this season. Chespin was cheap this season. Finian was cheap. Trubbish was pretty cheap. Even Litleo might have been cheap.
You gotta say Peachy did drop Trubbish and Zora for coughing and Shuppet.
Why'd they pick up Shuppet? That's the first L they've taken.
Yeah,
Shuppet. You have no reason.
On their team.
Like,
I mean, coughing.
It was beforehand. Coughing is really good. But yeah,
I will say another thing, Peachy. These top 4 is absurd. Trapinch traps and removes the poisons, fires, and steals that threaten Swirlix, and it threatens threatens the poisons that Crabrawler doesn't like handling. Volibee can handle bug types that Crabrawler doesn't like handling. This team
Psychics.
And Psychics, yeah. The fighting Psychic Dark Core is missing a Psychic type, right? Yeah. But it compensates with things like Tinka-Tink and Swirlix as pseudo-psychics. This team's just really strong on all fronts. It is scary but balanced. Great low point value. Might even be worth the 10, but I mean, they're high. They're the highest already. I do think with Coughing Shuppet, they probably drop like they might drop a point on like low point value.
Yeah, maybe. They're
still number 1. Peachy, excellent draft, and the first draft, although we knew Peachy was experienced, so I expect great things from this very cool, very strong team. And then rounding out our video, we got some stats and facts. Jaw, you've been a little quiet. Why don't you rattle off our stats and facts?
I've been quiet. Anyways, I will talk. The average post-draft power ranking score, not including Garrett's one, we have a 66.4, which is higher than last year's of a 60.6. So, next, Scarlet, interestingly, had a lower average division grade at 65.7, but they ranked higher than Violet at 9th on average, while Violet had 67.1 on average and an average placement of 10th. So the next thing we have is that for all of the new drafters, which is basically anyone who hasn't been in an LGL season before we counted for the average here, is 68. So you new people, you kind of killed it. And since last season, we only had a 55.3 for those new drafters.
I will add, Kryptos was included as a new drafter because while they were in last season, they were as a replacement coach.
Yes, I didn't calculate it. Goose did. And then our veterans, which are any of our coaches who have competed in 2 or more seasons of the LGL, we got a 65.1, which is lower than the newbies. So we won't talk about who are the ones that brought it down, but that's okay. And then if you check on the tier list, every mon in the 13, 12, 11, and 10 point cost, all of them are taken except coughing, which is no longer the case as of now, but when we were making the slideshow, coughing was not picked up. But now it is all taken.
Closing thoughts, Bacon, Garrett? Because I know my closing thought, but I'd love for you.
It's my closing thoughts are that it's going to be a great season. It looks more competitive than ever. We've got, 9 games? There are 9 games that count.
10 games that count. The cross-division counts this season.
Oh, what? The Division SmackDown's going to count?
No. The Division SmackDown doesn't count. The cross-division is 9 weeks, sorry.
Okay, I was like, holy
shit. The cross-division match during the week.
I thought week 5 or week 6 was the week for silliness.
No, week 5, it's still silliness. It's still silliness.
Oh, it's week 6 now.
Yeah.
The Division SmackDown.
Okay, well, my only closing statement is that everyone else in the Scarlet Division should be closing their ass cheeks before I fuck them really badly.
Oh boy. We got fighting words.
Okay, Jaw, do you have closing thoughts that are less rape?
Gonna boom all over your asses?
Aww.
Wait, I also just realized, I think I'm bad at subtraction. I think this should be 5.8, right?
Yeah.
Someone's bad at subtraction.
Aw, and that's why you're being fired from your role.
I think we need to subtract a host.
Okay.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Boo!
As for
Get him
my
outta
closing
here.
thoughts,
Boo! Okay.
that's it. Go away.